Hello and welcome to Global Academia. If you're considering pursuing a bachelor's, master's, PhD, or even a postdoc, you're in the right place. Here we will give you all the information you need to decide which universities to go and how to choose your course and all of this. Welcome to episode 1 of Global Academia. In this episode, we will talk about bachelor degree with a focus on the UK higher education system. So, on a general term, what is a bachelor? When you finish an undergraduate degree, which may take between 3 to 6 years depending on the university and depending on the country, you will be given a bachelor degree. And this degree can be Bachelor of Art, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Engineering, depending on the area of the science that you have finished your course in. Generally in the UK, a bachelor takes between 3 to 4 years, depending on if you decide to take a placement year between the year 2 and 3. So this placement year will affect your employability, but not all universities provide that. So we will talk about how to choose the university and what points to consider. But if the university provides placement, that means they have a relationship between the industry, then you can apply for some jobs between the year 2 and year 3 of your university, and then go and 1 year work as an intern in that place. During this year, you will learn a lot of new things about industry, how industry works, and how to apply your knowledge, things you have learned in the first 2 years in different problems. And you, of course, will learn new techniques and tools that are necessary for your future. How to choose a university depends on many factors, and when you want to choose, you have to think about them. And that may sound a little bit overwhelming, especially when you have too many things to think about, and at the end, it's just too much. So I'm going to give you some of the important things to look for when you're choosing your university. Of course, the university you choose have to be in the same level of the grades you have taken in your high school, but these are some extra points to look at. One of them is the ranking of the university. Now, ranking of the university, there are different rankings, and some of them are based on how much research this university is doing. Some of them is based on student satisfaction, which I think student satisfaction ranking is better for you because you want to see how the staff are interacting with the students and how the alumni of the university are happy with it. So that's one thing. The other thing is the distance. Now, a lot of the times, some students go for a university that is 1 hour, 1.5 hours away from their home, and they don't consider moving closer to the university as a student. What happens is, most universities right now prefer the in-person classes. So you have to travel all this way to the classes. Some classes will start at 9 a.m. and you have to travel this time. Chances are, after some time, you just get tired of all of this distance. So if you decide to go to a university that is more than 1 hour away from your home, try to consider if it is a possibility for you to move closer to that university so you are present in the class. Some universities make a very big deal out of attendance and you don't want to miss many classes. So that's the second point to think about. Another thing to consider is the courses that are offered. For example, if you know what kind of thing you want to study, you have to make sure that the university is providing that course, of course. But the other thing is just bear in mind that when you're choosing your module, the bachelor is in a general area. So you're not going to directly jump into AI or data analysis. These are usually master classes. So just find the main area that you want to study and stick to that. Another point to consider when you're choosing the university is how they examine. So another thing that goes back to the distance is the examination. If, again, your home is too far away from the university, one exam may be at 9 a.m. and you want to use public transport or even drive in rush hour to get to the university, that's just not worth the stress of it. There are different types of examinations. For example, either you have to write an essay during the term, and you may have an exam as well. Just you go to the university and the traditional type of exams. Sometimes it's both. So it's good to be prepared for what type of examination you expect, and what type of examination you want, because sometimes, for example, a course might be completely exam based without any essays, and depending on the course you're taking, that may not make any sense for you. So this is one thing that you should look at. As I said before, some universities provide placement, which means you can work as an intern between year 2 and 3 of your university, but not all universities provide that. So it's good to check if those universities provide it and how it is for application. If you are a domestic student or international student, how it is different. Another point to consider is the diversity of the university. Especially when it comes to international students, it is very important for you to make sure that the university that you're going to can have a community for you. Bear in mind that when you are traveling to a new university, to a new country, you're completely on your own, and it's going to be tough if the university is mostly made up of domestic students. So diversity specifically is very important for international students. On the other hand, domestic students may want to look at diversity so they have the chance to see people from other countries, and that would be a great opportunity to get to know other people from other cultures, and that's a very beautiful experience. When it comes to choosing what to study, my suggestion is always to go for what you're passionate about, because you're going to be committed to this course for 3 to 4 years, and you want to continue it. You don't want to drop out. You don't want to get tired. So what will motivate you when you are tired of going to university every day is that passion. The other thing to consider is what you're good at. Depending on your skills, the things you have learned through high school and school, you know already what you're good at. And that's a good thing if you can kind of mix what you're good at with passion. Another thing is employability, but that should not be your main point to choose a topic. For example, you're not interested in computer science, but because you think now it is the world of AI and everything, you go for it. What happens is that you're not going to be good at it because you're not interested in it, and you're not going to be passionate. So when you get tired, you have no motivation to continue your module. So employability, while it is an important factor, it should not be your first option to choose, because it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to finish your bachelor degree. Among the bachelor degrees, there is a normal one that you get, the ordinary one, and there is also an honor. And an honors degree is generally required a higher academic standard than a past degree. So you have worked so hard for your exams, all the learning outcomes, and all the projects. And that way you will get an honor bachelor degree, which usually you may have seen it around, that it's, when it's Bachelor of Science, it's BSc, and then in parentheses they write HONS, which is honors. So it is always good to get the honors, because you have worked really hard and you can show it that I have been committed to this course for this many years and I have worked really hard. So that will affect your employability later on. Now, let's say you have chosen your university and your course and you are very much motivated to go to the university. What to expect there? First of all, the university has a more professional environment compared to what you're used to. So while all the lecturers are interacting professionally, you are also expected to be professional. Usually the university has 2 terms or 2 semesters, and most of the times during summer you're more free. It's good to use these summers to either take some universities provide some summer schools. It's good to take them up, or take up some projects. So don't idle during your summer simply because you don't have classes. Also, the other thing that matters really in universities is the code of conduct, which is a lot of things. For example, being respectful to each other, being respectful to your lecturer, being on time to the classes. And it also goes to plagiarism that I will definitely cover at some point. And also taking responsibility for what you're doing and for your actions. So this is how a university is. It is a more professional place and you're expected to be professional. So a lot of the times the first year students, they're still kind of in that haze moment that they're not sure how to behave, they're not sure how to react. But just expect that this is how the university is going to be. This is not high school anymore, and it is going to be completely different. Also, compared to high school that you had to go every day, some universities arrange their timetable in a way that you have to only go for 3 to 4 times a week. So you have 1 day to work on your assessments and study. So take these days that you don't go to classes and study your work, and make sure that you actually spend time on your lessons, because university, especially if they're the ones that you have to kind of make your hands dirty to understand them, if they're more practical, then you cannot pass it only by studying overnight, because that's not possible. That's why we give the students reading weeks, we give them 1 day off the week so they have time to study. Now, a few points for the students who want to study in the UK but they're international. So, first of all, you need to be comfortable with the language. This is beyond understanding IELTS or anything like that. What I mean is be comfortable speaking it and make sure that your listening is good enough, because the first terms you're going to struggle a little bit if you're not comfortable enough. It is very easy nowadays to make your listening very good. You can watch a lot of movies, you can listen to podcasts and everything. So it is easy to improve that. What comes usually the problem is the speaking. And because a lot of the students, especially from different countries, they have learned the language in the traditional way in a class using books, and they didn't have enough time to practice speaking. So my suggestion is, even if you are making mistakes, push yourself to speak. And just be aware that when you are an international student in a new country, the people around you understand that this is not your first language. And most people, if not all, are very respectful about that. They may correct you, but they never will, for example, make fun of you, which is the fear of a lot of us when we make mistake. So it is okay to make mistakes when you're speaking, and try to push yourself to speak when you come to the new environment. And also, when you arrive here, you're going to be on your own. So prepare yourself for a lot of overwhelming feelings like loneliness and homesicking. It's completely normal, but at the same time, try to find a silver lining in that. For example, if you were still living with your parents, probably you wouldn't find a chance to invent this new food that you just created from everything you had in the fridge. So it is going to be difficult, but know that you're not alone, and you can find other international students who share the same feelings like you. And understand that these feelings are completely normal. Let yourself express them. Don't suppress them, that, oh no, I shouldn't feel that way. It's completely normal. And if you like, you can always find communities closer to your culture, and usually the students naturally stick together from the same country, so you can easily find that community and join them, which usually can be fun. And also, while all of this is very difficult, you're in a new country, far away from your family, nothing is in your language, you have to cook for yourself, you have to take care of yourself, all of this might be overwhelming, but at the same time, try to have much fun as you can, because you're young, you want to enjoy your life. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself both physically and mentally. There will be an episode talking about mental health when it comes to international students. So I will be opening that topic much more, to just give you a glimpse of how it can be. But on a general term, it is very important for you to know that you're not alone, and all the feelings you're feeling are completely normal. And whoever has left their family have been through all of this as well. Now, moving on, there are other things that you need to be considered about when you start your university. There are some skills that you need to improve. For example, time management. We have harsher deadlines in the universities that, for example, you have to submit on this day. Or if you're late for example, 24 hours, then your grade is going to be capped at B or C. So you don't want to miss these things. Learn to manage your times properly. Usually the universities arrange their modules in a way that little by little you are exposed to all of these harsh deadlines. But make sure that you are prepared for this when the essays, when the exams come on. The other thing is academic writing, which is different for compared to normal writing. Universities usually provide a lot of workshops for this, but there are so many resources out there that you can improve academic writing. Academic writing is more professional, more scientific, and sometimes it is seen as something that is very complex, but that is kind of wrong, because academic writing should be in a way that you are explaining a very complex idea that you are expert in, to the general audience, so anyone can read your essay and they can understand what you have written. And that is a skill that you need to improve throughout the university. The other thing is research and plagiarism, which is a huge deal in the university. So when you want to write an essay, you need to do your research, you need to read your articles, and you cannot just read an article and copy paste a part of it into your essay. That is not how it works. So plagiarism means taking someone else's work into yours and claiming it as yours. So you cannot do this with research articles, you cannot do this with other people's reports. It should be genuinely yours. So universities have tools that they can check the similarity of your work to other people, both the submitted works and also the research and articles that is out there. And so they can check how much it is similar to something. And above a certain percentage, you are going to be in trouble if your work is too much similar to someone else's. So always make sure when you're writing your essays that all of these are your words. And also, this also goes for using of AI. Using AI is not a bad thing, but excess use of AI is awful because it stops you from thinking. So, and a study has shown that a lot of people who excessively use AI for every single question they have, their brains are actually shrinking. That means they don't create enough neurons because they're not learning anymore. So using AI is kind of inevitable nowadays, but make sure when you're writing up an essay or when you are learning something, you are learning it. You are not just reading off what the ChatGPT is telling you, or you are not just copy pasting. Also, a lot of the university have a lot of tools to see if this text has been written by AI or not. Aside from the tools, the lecturers have become kind of experts in kind of telling if you have used AI for writing your essays or not. So don't think you're fooling anyone. And using AI ethically and enough is fine. But when you go beyond and do all your homeworks based on this, just know that at the end, the bachelor that you may receive will not have any value, because when you go to industry and when you start working, they will understand you don't know anything. So it's okay to use AI, but it is not okay to use it too much. Also, AI sometimes provides you wrong information, or the references that it provides do not exist. So whatever you're taking from the AI, make sure you check the information is correct. All right, I think that's it for today. It was a very short episode about The Bachelor. If you want to know anything specific about any step of the university, or if you want me to cover a specific topic, for example, mental health during this time, please let me know and I will make sure that I will cover this. My name is Layla and I hope you enjoyed our first episode. I will surely see you soon.